Alright guys, so here is the new TCA side by side the original TCA. Pretty straightforward. This one right here is complete how you see it from the factory. Comes as is, nothing else attached to it. It's pretty much I thought I said complete, but I guess it just comes like that. So pretty much on this one you'll have to pull the map sensor. That's this one right here. Then you also need to remove the 2 injectors and the fuel line. In order to do that, there's a screw right there. I think it's a T25 or T27. T27, just go ahead and loosen that out. You'll be reusing your injectors, fuel line, and your map sensor. As far as these 2 bolts, I'm not sure exactly what they were for, but they weren't being used. So from what I can see in these cavities here, nothing actually goes through. So we'll just go ahead and leave those out. It's probably not a big deal. As far as what comes in the kit, comes with the fuel pipe bolt and some O-rings in the washers and a new clamp. You'll want to go ahead and use the new part supplied. And that's pretty much it. Looks like it also has a new bolt for the map sensor. So I guess maybe that's what's included in the complete, when it says complete. The part number for this one right here is, let's see, part number right here is 272000002, and that's for the TCA throttle control actuator. And then if you need to get a new twist grip sensor or TGS, that part number is going to be 32305-08B. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're going to go ahead and already got loosened up here. Don't like doing this stuff one-handed, but don't have the GoPro today. Alright, and then you want to go ahead and just kind of carefully pull out those injectors. Alright, they come out pretty easily, and you can see where the O-rings are. The new ones that are provided, upper and lower O-rings with the washers. So you just want to pay close attention to the orientation and how it's removed. So you put the O-rings and washers back in the correct place. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at the fuel tube and its clamp. Go ahead and pop that off, see what's inside. Okay, so the correct orientation going on to the fuel tube is going to be a washer, O-ring, washer, and O-ring. Basically starting with the washer and then finishing with an O-ring, which goes into this housing here. And then you put the clamp. The clamp actually goes on and it twists to lock it in place over the edge of this ear right here. So let's go ahead and just clean our surfaces off with a little bit of carb cleaner. Don't use too much and be careful how you use it. And that's pretty much it. Get ready to put on the new O-rings. Alright, to kind of help assist the O-rings slide into the housing, we're going to use just a little bit of waterproof grease. It's pretty light. Don't use too much, just a little bit, just enough help seat the O-rings into place. So we're just going to put a little bit on it. Okay, a little bit of grease on it. Let's go ahead and put it into the housing. This one right here. But first, make sure you put the that clamp onto your fuel tube. Okay, you're basically gonna push it in and then twist with your clamp on. That's pretty much good to go. Let's go ahead and put our new O-rings on the injectors. Okay, the O-rings for the injectors are the slightly larger ones. We're going to use these, and same process, just apply a little bit of lightweight grease to the O-rings. Okay, new O-rings installed. Let's go ahead and place them back into the induction manifold. Okay, so I think the easiest way to do it is basically you can do it vice versa, but place one injector into the housing and then one injector into the manifold, and basically just come on top of it, and then you press them in simultaneously. Be careful not to damage the injector or housing. Okay, and that's definitely how you do it. Went in pretty easily. No damage, quick and easy. Alright, let's go ahead and put on that screw, torque it down. Okay, let's go ahead and install our map sensor. Go ahead and place it right there. You can go ahead and put a little bit of grease on it if you want to. That little green O-ring, moderate, don't use a lot. Alright guys, and that's pretty much it. Here's our complete TCA. The last thing you can go ahead and do is go ahead and prep the manifold O-ring clamps. I forget what these are, the intake clamps, whatever they're, intake tube clamps. You can go ahead and just wipe them down. That's what I'll usually do. Use a little bit of gasket cinch, just apply it to it moderately, light coat, and that'll kind of help with any air leaks and also seating it into the engine. Okay, nice little coat of gasket cinch. Just kind of want to lube it up a tad bit. Let's go ahead and slip these on to our bicycle over there. Alright. Cylinder head intake flange mounting surface is clean. Let's go ahead and install our TCA. Now another thing too is you don't have to necessarily remove that those last two bolts all the way. Maybe one of them, but you can kind of leave them in loose so you can slide the manifold clamps on. Okay, got the throttle body on. Go ahead and take your check your intake manifold clamps and O-rings. Make sure they're not pinched and they're in there properly. Let's go ahead and torque down those bolts. Okay, now before you go ahead and do the final torque on the intake manifold clamps, you want to go ahead and mount your air cone, air filter, pretty much air box, because that's it mounts off the front of the cylinder heads here. So if you torque it down, you won't be able to pull it up, could pull your O-ring out. So you want to make sure you leave this just a little loose so you can go ahead and kind of move it up and down as you need to. Now, usually I'll eyeball it like this, kind of put those bolts in, snug it up before I crank those ones down. That way you know it's all lined up. Okay, so then after you torque all of these bolts on the air filter housing, then you do the final torque procedure. Go ahead and torque those intake manifold clamps there. And that's pretty much it. You can go ahead and put on your gas tank, air box, seat, speedometer, and let's go ahead and fire this thing up and see if it works. Alright, looks good. Let's go ahead and pressurize the fuel system. Okay. Let's see what happens. Is she neutral? Yeah, should be neutral. Alright. See what happens. Fire in the hole.